It's good to have you join us on Kaftan TV News at 7.
We found that the 10 naira tax is not actually sufficient.
National foreign news headlines. Get balanced, accurate facts on the latest news in business, politics, entertainment, sports, and more. Live from our studios.
Many thanks for watching. Join us again at
Kaftan
9
TV
p.m.
News. While wrapping up the day, unwind with the reminiscence of the day's news from home and abroad with Kaftan TV 7 p.m. News.
Good to have you join us on Kaftan News at 7.
Nigeria are living in up to 5%. Are young people repurpose the Harmony Symphony.
It's good to have you join us on Kaftan TV News at 7.
We found that the 10 naira tax is not actually sufficient.
National foreign news headlines. Get balanced, accurate facts on the latest news in business, politics, entertainment, sports, and more. Live from our studios.
Many thanks for watching. Join us again at 9
Kaftan
p.m.
TV News. While wrapping up the day, unwind with the reminiscence of the day's news from home and abroad with Kaftan TV 7 p.m. News.
Good to have you join us on Kaftan News at 7.
Nigeria are living in up to 5%. Are young people repurpose the Harmony Symphony.
It's good to have you join us on Kaftan TV News at 7.
We found that the 10 naira tax is not actually sufficient.
National foreign news headlines. Get balanced, accurate facts on the latest news in business, politics, entertainment, sports, and more. Live from our studios.
Many thanks for watching. Join us again at 9
Kaftan
p.m.
TV News.
Hello, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us here on Joy Asonye Live. It's been an interesting weekend. I hope it was for you as well, but so much been going on. However, today we'll be talking about Nigeria and where we are. How can we get out of this? It's no news that Nigerians are facing some very harrowing challenges, economic challenges really, stemming especially from the removal of fuel subsidy. How can we get out of where we are and fast? Palliatives have been promised, and yet we do not see the implementation, and in places where those implementations are being made, it's minimal. How can we get out of this? Well, it promises to be an interesting episode today, because the experiences that you and I seem to be facing, it's not just for us. I heard recently that there is nothing like the medium strata of society when you talk about Nigeria any longer. There's everybody right now is moving and moving fast to that line, that limit of that line of poverty. How can we get out of it? In the studio with me today is an interesting person. He is Chief Charles Ndudim. I hope I got that name right. Ndudim, okay. He is a Nigerian of Igbo extraction, really from Umahia. He's the founder, Southwest Media Consulting Limited, the CEO, Soil Limited, makers of soil lubricant. He's an author, and like he likes to say, a community leader and a devout child of God. Thank you so much for being part of the program. I hope I got everything right here.
Yeah, you did.
Right,
yes,
right. So welcome to the studios. Thanks for coming here. We would have to get to the spiritual aspect, and I need to know if this is punishment for something. It's quite harrowing, the kind of experiences we're having. We will go for a short break to return to discuss more. Stay with us. This is still Joy Asonye Live. It promises to be interesting, so don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back. From that, I still have with me Chief Charles Ndudim right here. He would be telling us, I think we'll just start by the announcement of the end of fuel subsidy. How did it hit you? Were you one of the people who were like, yay, at last, the end of fuel subsidy regime? There was so much corruption around it. What was your impression of it when it was initially announced on the 29th of May?
I come from a common. I want to speak from the common Nigerian, where we celebrate our individual differences and Nigerianness. So I come from the people. I want to speak from them, and speaking from them, I wonder all the time why it is that the things that we enjoy, that things that are perks to Nigerians, the things that go back to the ordinary man, have to be taken away. Albeit the corruption, albeit the problems that go around the subsidy. I really wonder why. We are oil producing nation, and the common man, he doesn't see the money, that come from petrol. There are no good roads. There are no good nothing. But for the fact that they enjoy that subsidy, why is it that government cannot focus on the corruption and take the corruption away than taking away subsidy completely from the Nigerian? Because that's what I feel like they get back as a Nigerian that has oil under their houses, their communities. It's oil. So they're getting the stuff and then you're taking it away from them. That's one point. The corruption has to be addressed, clearly, but I don't think that it was the right thing to do at the moment, but, time will tell.
What would you have had this government do? I mean, you also allude to the corruption embedded in the whole subsidy, fuel subsidy, and a government that wants to, block those loopholes and ensure that Nigerians indeed get what they need. And you would also agree with me that prior to the removal of subsidy, we had it was a mess, so to speak. There was always those fuel crisis, that there's the scarcity crisis. Not to mention, it seemed like marketers were holding the government by their jugular, and it was quite a mess. So what would you have had this government do? Not remove subsidy? Continue with this corruption?
No big corporation can be bigger than a government. No individual can be bigger than the government.
And yet you see where we were with
we have helped government our whole responsibility to take care of us. When we elect people into governance, whether from the councillor to local government to everywhere, and the president appoints people that work for him, we've given them the responsibility, hoping that they would take care of us. So when it comes to the corruption, I think government knows where the people who are perpetuating this corruption, who they are. There is this thing in Nigeria, I think we've stopped telling ourselves the truth. We know the truth. Who are these people? The common man on the street is not the person that is holding the government to ransom. How can the entire market system be holding a government that sets the policy to ransom? So I say, without saying too much, that we need to come to a point in our country where we identify what the real problem is, instead of solving it with one big hammer, because some people are corrupting the entire system. Then everybody must be suffering like we are seeing in the country today. Food prices are driving up every day. The common man, if it's biting as hard as it is to people that are up there in the upper echelon, I wonder what the common man is going through. They are probably eating once a day, if they are eating at all. People are complaining, and the government I really do pray that this government, get to the real issues and get to the people urgently.
Okay.
Because they really need it.
Exactly, they do really need it. I mean, we've heard about the renewed hope agenda. It has a very long list of promises for Nigerians. When you look at that document or you listen to the government spokesperson talk, does it incite that or stimulate that faith and hope that it indeed is meant to?
I want to believe that the politics era, is coming to an end. The court have issued what they have issued, and we need to move on right now because we have a pressing need in our nation, and the pressing need is to feed the hungry. The pressing need is that the food needs to get to the table of the ordinary Nigerian, and I want to say that we are too blessed to be poor. Nigeria, we are too blessed to be poor. And for this government, it's going to be all hands on deck. The government is sitting in place. Ministers have been announced. They need to get to work, and they need to get all hands on deck to solve. There's a crisis in this nation, but Nigerians are very resilient people. Nigerians are always, you beat them from the left, they go to the right. You beat the right, they go to the left, because we have that ingenuity. We are entrepreneurial. Even as a civil servant, some civil servants, they have some side hustle going on for them.
Exactly. That's how they must survive.
That's how they must survive. But however, according to the Bible, shall we live in sin that grace may abound? Shall these people be dead before we come to their aid? So this government need to, and I believe, and I want to believe that they understand the urgency of the situation, that Nigerians, the ordinary Nigerian, needs an emergency help, and they've announced a palliative. Palliative never works in this country. We need to really get to the nitty-gritty of this of these issues and solve them permanently. Why can we not live like people in Saudi, UAE? We have all the natural resources. We have things on the ground here that can sustain everybody called a Nigerian. Now we have our youth fleeing the country, looking for better, greener pastures outside of the country. That's not what we want. Those are the hands that's going to sort out the problems in this country. Now they are running away because there is hunger.
Exactly.
So the government, I'm praying. I'm not that Nigerian. I'm a passionate Nigerian, and I'm praying that God, gives this government the energy and the strength they need to get out of this one.
Do you have practical suggestions that they should take? But before we go to those suggestions, I'd like you talked about all hands being on deck to get this working, but with the opposition, if you follow the news, you know that the opposition has not settled yet. Most of there are still some cases that are heading to the Supreme Court, or some have already been filed in the Supreme Court. Do you think Nigerians have really moved on from elections and ready for governance with all hands being on deck?
Nigerians have moved on. Nigerians are worried about their stomach. That's I can tell you. In terms of politics is playing out right now in the courts.
That's another unfortunate aspect of our democracy.
Our democracy is playing out in the courts. That remains. Let the characters there play that out. The government must just get to the business of the day. What is the business of the day? To get food.
And yet you do not believe in the palliatives to get food. Our borders are still closed. Foreign rice, for instance, is not officially allowed into the country. So what would you say the practical suggestions are for you if you have a staircase conversation, for instance, with the president to say this is where to start?
Get the right money needed to these MSMEs. That's what is everywhere. There's that welder there. There's the barber. He's struggling. There's no power. He needs fuel. Okay, he needs fuel to power his barbershop in order to, or whatever assistance that can be given to them. You know, we need to get help to the people that need it the most. And there's never been a problem. You can never solve a problem giving people fish.
Right.
Yeah, it can never be sustained. If you continue to give me fish, I'll show up in your house every morning to collect fish because I'll be hungry the next
day. Right.
Okay, so the real thing is to go for how do you solve this problem. People don't have the capacity right now to build up their businesses, to even sustain their businesses. People don't have. In the US, it happened. What did the government do? They injected money into the economy. Okay, that's what governments do. They inject money, all that money that's being saved. Where is it? Inject money into the economy. Let it get to the right people, because there is always somebody in the middle not allowing this money to get to the hands that need it the most. How do we create a registry system in this country that allows all the MSMEs when they are in trouble, because clearly their business, they go to the banks, you know what the story is.
Very often they are unable to access funds from financial institutions.
So government needs to get a registry that identify, and I'm sure they do have.
They do have. There are several even.
There you go.
You know, from different sectors, and with all this registry, we know who needs this intervention. But like you say, very often it doesn't get to those who really need it.
It never really does get
right.
to them.
And then we are also hearing about the other interventions by the past administration and how badly managed. I think I'm even being kind when I say badly managed it was, because as it is, the anchor borrowers, for instance, they are now trying to get back some of the loans that were given. There's no proper structure, and this new administration is on board. You were talking about a registry. How can we ensure this registry is indeed with those who need these interventions?
Unfortunately, we keep talking about the unfortunate things about this country. You know, we've lived in a time where some people say that they are distributing food in the classrooms all over the nation. Some people say that they are giving a lot of money out to people all over this nation. But truly, you know, you go down to the locals, and they've not heard such thing. There's no money coming to them. So who is in charge of this money? That's who we need to hold responsible. Can the president this time appoint people of integrity? I believe in Nigeria. I have seen men of integrity in this Nigeria. Okay, that believes also in Nigeria, that believe that you know, poor people deserve attention. The common Nigerian deserves attention. There are people who are doing it out of pocket without government.
Exactly.
There are a lot of people running foundations in this country, giving to the poor, helping to sustain businesses, pay for school fees and university fees and stuff. There are people who are doing that on the constant. They are doing it out of pocket. That gives us hope that there is still men of integrity in this country. Can they have a chance to be appointed for a change, so that when the president sits in the villa, the president depends on information, whoever the president is going to be today, he depends on information that comes to him. He depends on his advisors and his ministers, the information. So when they say, we've distributed food all over the country, the president will be happy. Food has been distributed all over the country.
And there's no reason why Nigerians should cry out.
Why are they crying? Okay, so that is it comes with the appointment. And if we can have a sense of urgency, if you are appointed to governance, understand that it is not really, how do we curtail and stop this thing of people going into government? Like, people get appointed for a government office and they are celebrated, they are throwing parties all over the place. You know why? Because it's time to chop. It's time to eat the money. You know, when we will get to the point where you know, it's about service.
Right.
It's about service. So we can stay here and point to every administration that has come. You know what the problem is? Us, the Nigerians themselves are also the problem. Because if they send me now to become a minister in this country and I come back just serving Nigeria, and I don't come to splash or build the castles in my village, there was
a disappointment.
Yeah, a disappointment. Look at this one. We sent him to the federal and he came back with nothing. So we are the cause of our own problem.
But you won't blame most Nigerians for that. It's like, what do you address first? Very often the reason that they want you to do that is because there's no other dividends of democracy. You've gone there and you're returning with what they stem as nothing. They still cannot point to water. They still cannot point to good roads or energy. They still cannot point to those things. And so if you cannot point to infrastructures, at least let's see your mansion. Yeah. Let's see something. Let's ensure that you employ it. I had a conversation with somebody who said the pressure, if he has to put together the CVs he receives daily, I think there's no employment institution that can take that many CVs. That's how unfortunate it is. So what do you put first? There's the need for the orientation to get Nigerians out of these expectations from their political actors and ask for the important things, social amenities. However, there's also the need for these political actors to indeed do the work. So what do you put first?
I think orientation is very key, because you know most of these things are fueled by ethnocentric ideals. Whereby I'm sent there as an Igbo man, not to serve the Igbo.
Exactly, I'm not Nigerian.
I'm not Nigeria. So when would we in this country become a nation? Because it's from the birth of that nation. You know, I just feel like we are put together in this geographic landscape, this place called Nigeria, and we have not developed a common interest that should drive the purpose called Nigeria.
We've gone half hour. That's a very interesting place to take a break. We've gone half hour. When we return, we'll be talking about those very important things that would drive the purpose of being Nigerian. This is still Joy Asonye Live, and we'll be back after this short break.
Yes, there is news on your device, but hearing an analyst's perspective is the icing on the cake that Daybreak Africa provides. Start your day with prompt analysis of the latest news, trends,
and then you see these people, they're so agile, they can do it.
Politics.
We have to go back to that regional system. That is the foundation of this country, for God's sake.
Entertainment. Fashion. Culinary skills.
So first I'm going to be pouring the oil inside because
religious and cultural events amongst others on Daybreak Africa. For a rich mix of analysis and current issues, tune in daily from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on channel 480 and 124 on StarTimes.
Welcome back from that short break. This is still Joy Asonye live here on Kaftan television, and we still have with us here Chief Charles Ndudim. Like I said earlier, he's an author of a book, really, The Gold Factor. Yes. We'll talk about that in a bit. He's also the founder of Southwest Media Consulting Limited. Again, I thank you for being with us and staying with us. But now we were talking about those strong values that brings us together as Nigerians, that will push the Nigerian agenda.
It starts from you. Why are we in Nigerians? We're here. Diversity really should be one of our biggest points, but it seems like is one of our biggest causes. I can remember some time ago in Germany, they had to make provision, cleared up all the bottlenecks for 50,000 Indians to immigrate to Germany because of their tech savviness. There is something that makes you unique. You know, you could be a farmer. That means the country can feed off of you. You could be blessed with trade, which means that goods and services that come out of the farm can be moved. There are people who have designed the distribution system who are good at it. You know, you could be good with the finance or whatever it is that you're good with in this country that God has deposited within you. You know, and God, in his infinite mercies, he gave us the people. He gave us the diversity that we needed. He gave us
natural
resources that is layered all over the soil. What is it doing to us? It's breaking us apart. It's making us not even, because of these ethnocentric ideals that we have so much that has eaten into our fabric. And I pray for a time when I don't want to be asked where I'm from anymore. I'm a Nigerian in Nigeria. You know those years they send you,
exactly.
They ask you your language, this, that, all of that stuff. I think we need to begin to put that aside if we really believe in becoming the Nigerian, because right now we are just congregated in this space. We are not Nigerian. We only become Nigerian when we are playing soccer, when the Super Eagles are playing, or when something else brings us together that we are doing outside, competing outside. If I see you outside of this country,
you're excited.
I'm excited. I'm a Nigerian. But when we are inside this country, is all about what we are fighting for, the small cake when we can expand the horizon
and have the bakery everywhere.
I have the bakery everywhere. I'm glad there is something being done to the mining sector. For a very long time, it was mismanaged by the federal government, and the federal government is so huge. Federal government wants to control the road that is in your village. How can the federal government be in Abuja and monitor roads that are in villages, in rural areas, in rural communities? Is it not time to decentralize some of these things? There is so much this government has to put in place. There's so much this government must do for them to win the Nigerian in us back.
Really?
Yes.
If you were president for a day, what would you have started with, especially with this beautiful, noble concept you just said, winning the Nigerian in us back?
If I were a president, that's for a day. I will call genuinely for national cohesion. I will call genuinely. I will dig up we have answered most of the questions that are troubling this country. We've answered it through all kinds of conferences. Documents have been set up. We've answered all of our questions. You know the problem with this country? We know our problem and we know the answers. But we lack the will
to approach the answers,
execute those answers that we have developed. That is the problem in Nigeria. If this government can be genuine enough to say, let us dig up all of the stuff that we have asked the questions, I've gotten the answers to. Can we put them on the table? Which one serves the Nigerian now? And we will see that we have already documented the solutions to our many, many, many problems. So if I was the president for one day,
that's where you will start.
That's where I will start.
But you just said it is embedded in the fabric of our being. Do you think that would make an impact? Because it seems like this is something politicians have for a very long time taken advantage of. In fact, even been accused of failing. So do you think Nigeria is ready to be Nigeria and forge together?
I think Nigeria just needs will. We have had governments that have done irreparable things to Nigerians, and we thought they wouldn't get away with it. Just think for a minute, and they got away with it. Just think for a minute, we have a government that has the will and the love of the nation. I always say to my friends, I say, Nigeria needs a lover. You know, a lover. That's what this country needs as a leader.
Really?
Yes.
Not the iron hand we always ask for.
Nigeria, there are consequences for actions. So I'm not expecting the president or the leader to be weak. I am saying Nigeria needs a lover. Love. Our parents used to spank us when they thought we were going the wrong way. It wasn't out of hate. It was out of love. Nigeria needs a lover who will direct Nigeria, who will love Nigeria completely, and love every aspect of this country. You know, when they go for campaigns, you know, they are required to touch every aspect of this country. The rural areas, they have to go to even the hinterland, they have to go everywhere. And why that is important? Why is it important for somebody to leave school and go from Lagos to serve in Sokoto? The whole idea about that is for proper integration. Proper integration. What happened to that? What are we doing with that? I believe that our problems are fixable if we can fix those things that are holding us from being truly what God have called us here to be. Everybody says that England or whatever put us here. They didn't put us here. Yes, historically they amalgamated the country and dragged everybody into one space. I believe God Almighty put us here.
Exactly.
And we must not.
I agree with you. I don't believe anything happens by chance.
Yes. And I say, Bill Clinton once said when he came to this country, he came here and he said to us that our differences should inspire our future. Our differences. Let us not look at the negatives of our differences. There is no utopia. There is no society without its issues.
Challenges.
Yes, its challenges. But we must not focus on those differences. What makes you and I different? Maybe we are speaking a different dialect. But the fact that we hold a flag, a passport, we call ourselves Nigerians. When you are asked what country you're from, I'm Nigerian. Now, the Afrobeat, the creative arts industry have taken the gospel of Nigeria all over the world. That is just that's just a little opening to show you what is possible.
The potentials, yeah.
What is possible out of this country if the right conditions of development are placed for the Nigerian. Nigeria is the only place where I've never enjoyed scholarship in this country. I paid my way through everything. My parents paid my way through everything. I've never gone to the hospital and gotten any Medicaid or whatever it is. I pay my way through everything. I get food through everything. Other countries, they have all of that. But you know what? The Nigerian is still there, resilient, waiting for the right opportunity to be given it, so that they can blossom It is still in this country where a teacher can be selling, hawking bread outside of their home just to make up. A teacher that have not been paid for 14 months, 10 months in some of the states. They've not been paid for 20 months. And that teacher have their own children in university that they are training.
And must pay fees for.
And must pay fees for. It is still in this Nigeria. So what is possible in this country is not possible. I've not seen any country that can stand it. Yet the Nigerian is waiting for that day when somebody can believe in it and say, here is a condition I've placed before you. Here is a policy that can help you blossom. I wait for that day.
While waiting, and like you said, you're a man of God, a child of God, you said, while praying and waiting for this day, how can we have this transparency and accountability by the citizens so that we do not get used to the concept of Nigerians being resilient, and so you push Nigerians even further and things get worse. Sometimes we've seen very annoying news stories of political appointees or actors who just sit on so much money, and okay, the anti-graft agencies have caught him and all that. But some of us go back to think these monies were commissioned for something so important that would have reached Nigerians, that would have changed the lives of many, but you sat on it. So how can we ensure accountability so that while we pray, these people are made to do that which they've promised?
If there is no consequence for your action, if it's still the same old playbook, I'm probably going to get into politics tomorrow and I'll still play according to the dictates of what is there. So there needs to be consequence for action. That is what every well-meaning Nigeria has been calling for. Some boys that do internet fraud or whatever it is that they do, they go to different hotels. I see online these days, the EFCC and the DSS, they are very quite, energetic and rounding
when it comes to rounding those ones up.
When it's time to finding those ones, and they line them up and they show us what they are doing. Yet, the real culprits, why those boys are even doing that, because they have energy. When you're a youth, you have energy, and we're in a country where we have this energy. We cannot even explain where this energy comes from.
Right.
So if there is no condition of development placed for these young people, they are going to turn to any other way to find food on their table.
Right.
And unfortunately, they find it in this negative path. But the real culprits, why those monies we are talking about are not getting to them, those conditions of development are not getting to them, we see them, we celebrate these people. We hear the news today on air, and the next minute, where are they? What came out of it? What is the judgment? Who has gone to jail for eating my national endowment fund? Who has gone to jail for taking away my school fee? Who has gone to jail for not paying my mother's salary while I had to become a 419 or become an armed robber or become this or become that? I'm not saying that's an excuse for that. However, we must begin to deal with the real issues,
right, and
stop sugarcoating things like this. The people that perpetrate the most crime in this country are going scot-free. Exactly. And what am I going to learn, or what is the youth going to learn from that? I'll wait for my day. If I'm loyal enough, if I steal ballot boxes enough, maybe I will get rewarded one day, and I will become XYZ. And when I get that, I'm going to. So you see the cycle. It's just a vicious cycle that never stops. We need this government. We need President Tinubu. He's our president today.
Right.
We need him. He's amassed wealth. He's a wealthy man. I don't think that, I really don't think that should be a focus at the moment. I think that his focus at the moment should be to leave a lasting legacy, even with all this myriad of issues that are happening around his presidency. He can actually walk away from this country and give in Nigeria a gift of a new life. And like I said, we are too blessed to be poor.
We are too blessed to be poor. Is that part of you wrote a book, The Gold Factor. Is that how we are going to get out of this?
I studied economics, and my book is redefining the market system in Africa, but with major emphasis on South Africa. That's why it's called The Gold Factor. And but we can borrow a lot from that, because when the government of Mandela came into power in South Africa, the people of South Africa felt that it was, jamboree. The monies, the government was going to be a handout government. And unbeknownst to them, that economy functions in a different way. And Nelson Mandela says, no, education is key. Let us train our people, maybe not through the 4-year conventional. Let's give them skills. So there was a deliberate attempt to build skills and develop skills to the regular South African black population, and we can see that paying off today. South Africa is one of the major service deliveries to this country, even Nigeria. There are a lot of them on our roads, in our hotels, in all kinds of the aspects of the economy. Those skills are paying off today. That is why you have a black middle class, regardless of what you see. So I say the over-dependent on the gold, the over-dependent on oil is one of the problems in Nigeria. So when I say the gold factor, it is the over-dependence of your economic activity towards one thing, which we have done, perfected over years. We believe in oil. We believe in going to the federal government every month to share money. When Afrobeat, the entertainment economy in California is the 5th largest economy in the world as a state in the US. What is it fueled by?
The entertainment
industry. Now we have gone into the digital era where somebody in India, I can release my track today, and somebody in India is downloading it. They're not waiting for me to ship my CDs. They're not waiting for me to see my video. They can go online and just download my music, and I get royalties for it. So the world have moved into a digital era. What are we doing to harness that? Understanding that Nigeria is the highest content producer, entertainment content producer in the world as we know it today.
I had not stumbled on that statistics.
It is. So what are we doing to harness that? The world is eating up our music, our comedy, our movies, our lifestyle, our skits, the guys that make skits, and the comedians that make skits all over you can go. In fact, I give you a challenge. Go on YouTube. There's a gospel singer in Nigeria called Sinach. Go and check one of her tracks. It's a gospel singer, right? She's had over 300 million views on one track. And with every view is money coming back. What is this country doing to harness all of that? My question is, it's time for us to think out of the box of oil, the curse of Nigeria. I call oil the curse of this nation. We need to open up new businesses, empower new businesses, get men of thought, get thought leaders into play, get consultants from all over the place that is specialized in different areas. Like I said, I'm happy the mining sector is breathing life right now. I'm happy some other sectors are breathing, but there is so much that we still have within our shores that can change our course for good. I still believe.
I have to share in your belief, but there are young people listening to you right now, probably even getting despondent or thinking of leaving the shores of Nigeria. What would your message be for them?
You know, the burden have always been put on young people. The burden have always been put on them. Remember, it was still in this country that young people decided to get up to go and protest and say, we don't like how the police is treating us. And what did they get behind their backs? Gun, bullets, or whatever. It is still in this country where young people have been told to always, you know, dream. You are the leaders of tomorrow. Where is the opportunity? I want to shift the burden a little bit
from young people.
From the young people. And I'm not saying they need to run, but whatever they need to go and save their life at the moment before help comes, let them know that there is only one country that they would ever have. No matter where you go in this world, you are a second-class citizen. Even if they give you a naturalized citizenship, you are still a second-class citizen in that country. This is the only place that is home. This is the only place that you can fully claim as your country. And so, do your best. Do your best. And let the leaders begin to think about the future. The future that I feel so inspired and motivated. I feel like running out there and beginning to do things. But Chief Charles Ndudim. Yes. Am I pronouncing it well? It means in Igbo, I'll live long. So when you say my last name, you're telling yourself I'll live long. Okay, that's nice, and I hope I get it right so I don't mess it up. You know, when it comes to life, I don't want to mix things up. Chief Charles Ndudim, thank you so much for being part of the program. It was wonderful, very inspiring, and very motivational. I'm sure my viewers learned so much and maybe felt better about being so resilient. I mean, we are doing great things across the world. Thank you for being part of the program. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure for me too. That this is where we round it up on Joy Asonye Live. Rest assured, we'll be back tomorrow with so much more. Do have a wonderful, wonderful evening.